So the U.S. attorney is calling Hunter Biden in order to warn him that him and his father have been named inside of a criminal complaint. Where'd that criminal complaint go exactly? What's that about? Where's those documents? And what is this FD 1023 document that is presumably already delivered to the Republican investigators on their committees right now as the show is ongoing? What is this going to detail? There's only one man that we would trust to illuminate for us what is inside of these documents, and it's a man who is personally responsible for the conservative Supreme Court, personally responsible for the appointment of excellent judges during the Trump administration, and the only man that we trust on true legal matters and matters of oversight. His name is Mike Davis. He's our in-house attorney, and he joins us now. Hot damn, Mike. Have I ever called you and gone, Mike, I think you're in the clear?
Well, I mean, there was that one time, Ben, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, that's right. You remember that time we started a Ukrainian natural gas company with American taxpayer dollars? That was wild. So, yeah, and then we allowed a war to come through and destroy all the evidence. That's great. So, Mike, this FD 1023 form, everyone's talking about it. Nobody even knew what the hell this was. I don't pretend that I knew what an FD 1023 form. It's being delivered this morning to James Comer. The FBI has broken and is going to deliver that form alleging to a $5 million bribery scheme, Joe Biden. We know the sourcing on that is rock solid. This is a source that was used during the Obama administration and has been used by the FBI for decades. What can we find inside of that document, and what are the next steps here for Congress?
So according to the reporting, according to what our home state senator and my former boss, Chuck Grassley, has said, and House Oversight Chairman James Comer have said, there is evidence at the FBI for years that then Vice President Joe Biden took a $5 million foreign bribe and he changed American policy. And the FBI has covered this up. And this is part of a pattern by the FBI for the last three presidential elections, 2016, 2020, and 2024, the upcoming, where the FBI has interfered in the presidential election. In 2016, Hillary Clinton got caught with her illegal home server as Secretary of State. It was hacked by foreign governments. It had our nation's most classified secrets. It had evidence of the Clinton Foundation's bribery scheme, the pay-for-play bribery schemes with foreign governments. And so what did Hillary do? She destroyed the evidence, obstruction of justice. What did the FBI do? They colluded with Obama, President Obama, Vice President Biden, Hillary, the FBI, the AG, the CIA director to make up the Russian collusion hoax to get Trump, the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, where they lied to the FISA court to get a warrant several times, and they hobbled the Trump presidency for 3 years. The whole point of Crossfire Hurricane, according to John Durham's report, the special counsel's report, was to deflect from Hillary's legal troubles. In 2016, it was to interfere in the election. 2020, the FBI had this evidence, this whistleblower evidence in 2020 that Biden was crooked. He was corrupt. He took a $5 million foreign bribe as vice president of the United States. And so they covered this up. Instead, the intel community of the FBI, they alleged just complete nonsense against President Trump. They said, on the Hunter Biden laptop, they said the 51 intel officials said it was a Russian disinformation campaign. Evidence on Hunter Biden's laptop that you just played on your show was a Russian disinformation campaign. And these 51 former intel officials interfered in the election in 2020. In 2024, Ben, as I've been saying since August, they're interfering again because Trump declassified the day before he left office via presidential memo the Crossfire Hurricane records. These damning records that show that the FBI colluded with Hillary's campaign to try to throw the 2016 election. Trump took his declassified copy. Trump's chief of staff, the day they left office, January 20th, 2021, ordered a privacy review and to publicly release these documents. They never did the privacy review. They never released these documents. Instead, Biden worked with Garland to do this unprecedented, unlawful home raid on President Trump. They went to a biased magistrate judge, Bruce Reinhardt, who had just recused from Trump's civil lawsuit versus Hillary 6 weeks prior because of his judicial bias, his Facebook post bashing Trump. That judicial bias somehow goes away. They go in with this unprecedented, unnecessary, unlawful home raid on Trump to go get back documents that Trump was entitled to have under the Presidential Records Act. He's allowed to have his presidential records classified or not. And that's why Congress gives former presidents federally funded staff, secure office space, staff with security clearances, Secret Service protection. These documents were secure for 18 months after Trump left office. They only started leaking when Biden raided Trump to get these documents, right? And so the whole point of the Mar-a-Lago raid, they say it was classified documents. That's nonsense. It was to get back Trump's damning Crossfire hurricane records, and that's what's coming next. Biden got caught taking this $5 million bribe as vice president. The FBI got caught covering this up for years. So what are they going to do? They're going to go after Trump with obstruction on the Mar-a-Lago investigation with Garland special counsel Jack Smith.
So you said that the FBI is corrupt and in the pocket of Joe Biden, or Joe Biden's in their pocket, depending on how you look at the puppet-muppet relationship. Luckily for you, James Comey happened to give an interview with Jen Psaki this weekend and say effectively, Benny's attorney, in-house attorney, he's right. That Mike Davis, he was right all along. My name's James Comey, and I endorse Mike Davis and his presuppositions about the FBI. Watch.
You were a Republican most of your life, but voted for, and you may still consider yourself one, but voted for Biden in 2020. Do you intend to vote for him again, or is there anyone on the Republican side you might consider if it's not Trump?
It has to be Joe Biden. And I'm glad he's willing to serve. It has to be somebody committed to the rule of law, committed to the values of this country. And I'm not talking about policy. People can disagree about policy. There are things above those disagreements that all of us should think about the same way. The president must be someone who abides the law and our Constitution. And there's no one else but Joe Biden.
Mike, I've been chomping at the bit to get your reaction to that one.
Nothing says law and order like taking a $5 million foreign bribe when you're the vice president of the United States and changing American policy. Nothing screams law and order like the FBI making up the Crossfire hurricane, the Russian collusion hoax, and launching the Crossfire hurricane investigation to take out a presidential candidate and protect the Democrat presidential candidate like they did in 2016. Nothing says law and order like the FBI covering up the Bidens. Millions of dollars the Bidens have taken from these foreign governments, China, Ukraine, Romania, who knows what other countries. It seems like every Biden has taken a cut of this foreign bribe, including the President Biden, everyone except for their 4-year-old granddaughter, who they do not claim. So these people are sick. They're scumbags. They're bottom feeders. They're corrupt. Joe Biden is compromised, and the FBI has been covering for the Bidens for years.
I say that almost in jest that he's given a message directly to you endorsing what you've been saying about the FBI and Joe Biden. But Jen Psaki did go on later in the interview to talk about retribution against the deep state were Donald Trump to be elected again. And I bet that they were reading your tweets. It did seem as though James Comey was quite a bit scared about retribution. And that's where these comments came from. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, Ben. So when I'm Trump's acting attorney general for my 3-week reign of terror, I will fire as many people as I can, and I will do as many home raids and indictments as possible. So I would say to James Comey, preserve your records, because we're sitting in the cavalry to your house, buddy.
So what people would like, one, I mean, I fully endorse this. I'll make a T-shirt or a bumper sticker like Mike Davis Reign of Terror 2024. That's going to be on the back of my car. Okay, I fully endorse it. What people would like is to see something happen based on your expertise, which is broad in this field, and you advise multiple members of Congress. You advise Congress yourself. Like, you know a lot of things. Mike doesn't let on exactly how powerful he actually is. What will come of this? We've been covering this FD 1023. It does seem as though the FBI has broken here. They didn't want to admit it was even real, but your old boss, Chuck Grassley, broke them, and now they have to play ball. What will come of it other than some headlines from Fox News?
You know, I look at Grassley and Comer, and it reminds me of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker. They are a powerful, powerful team. Grassley's he's been the king of oversight for decades, and Comer is really, 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 really good at his job, and he got good very fast. And so this is a powerful team. They know how to laser focus on what actually matters, like this FBI form from this whistleblower with evidence the FBI covered up for years, then Vice President Joe Biden taking a $5 million foreign bribe and changing American policy. It doesn't get worse than that. I don't know how you can stay on as the president of the United States if there is evidence, if it turns out to be true, that Vice President Joe Biden took a $5 million foreign bribe and changed American policy. I don't know how he can stay on as president, because it shows that he is willing to sell out the highest offices in the land for his personal gain. And so if we couldn't trust him as vice president, how can we trust him now as the president? So if this evidence turns out to be true, the House must impeach him. And I don't know how the Senate, even Senate Democrats, can keep him in office when he has compromised and he has shown in the past that he's willing to act on that for his own personal gain, for millions of dollars for himself and his family, except for his 4-year-old granddaughter, who he doesn't claim because they're absolute scumbag family.
He did pay his granddaughter. That's what's so interesting. He has other grandkids, right? Not the ones that he refuses to acknowledge from the stripper that Hunter Biden impregnated, but he does have other grandkids, and he did pay them. I'm not incorrect here. We know this from the documents, from the family financial documents. He did pay his What kind of legitimate business? Mike, I know your time is very valuable, but like, what kind of legitimate business pays your grandkids like foreign access money for diplomatic favors?
I mean, this is something that you would actually do in a dictatorship like in Russia or China or a third world Marxist hellhole. I mean,
yes,
this is par for the course for scumbag leaders like like Joe Biden is.
Yeah, that's right. We have our own Uday and Qusay Hussein here in this country, and they're about as moral. Thank you, Mike. Where can people find your work?
Thank you, Ben. You could your people could donate at article3project.org, article number 3project.org, at article 3 project, at article number 3 project, and my personal is at MRDDMIA, MRDDMIA, my initials in Des Moines, Iowa. Thank you.
There it is right there on screen. You can see the Article 3 project. Go ahead and click on that, Royce, if you can. Show their Twitter account so that people understand that there's actually one agency in Washington, D.C. that's actually doing good work. God bless you, Mike. Godspeed.
Thank you, Ben.